Welcome to today's Quiet Point. I'm going to take a few minutes just to stop and to breathe. I was led to Psalm 40 today for a quiet time, a stopping time to reflect on God's word. And the psalm begins this. The psalmist says, I waited patiently for the Lord. I know what patiently means, but I thought I'd look at that word definition again. I think the psalmist is saying, I showed tolerance and of some delays and things that I was speaking to you, Lord, and some problems I had. I just showed some tolerance for my problems and my suffering without becoming too anxious or too annoyed. And then the psalmist goes on to say, and then, Lord, you set my feet on a rock. You gave me a new song to sing. All of these benefits for having waited patiently. But the very last line of this psalm says this, you are my help and my deliverer. You are my God. Don't delay. And I thought that was odd until I began to put myself in the place of this psalmist and recognize that sometimes we have to bring ourselves in remembrance as we're waiting on a promise or waiting for a fulfillment or waiting for a prayer to be answered, that we have to remind ourselves of the times in the past that seemed so critical, and yet God did come through. He did, of course, hear our prayer, and he answered in his timing and in a way that was of benefit for me, for us. And so the psalmist, I think, finds himself in another one of those places, and he's reminding himself of this concept of patient endurance that the Lord is always building into our character. But he's so human. So at the very end, I feel like he's saying, I remember those things. I'm doing a little self-talk here. But here again, Lord, don't delay. I don't know what you're waiting for. I have things I'm waiting for. But I know it's good to remember how he's answered me in critical times in the past where I thought there was no answer and I felt like I was hitting a wall. And yet, here I am today. I hope this brings you a focus, a recounting of what God has already done in your life to help you through this moment that you find yourself again waiting patiently. Have a good afternoon.